The lantern maker's workshop sat quietly on Birchwood Lane, glowing with a soft amber light that spilled through its old wooden windows. Daniel stepped inside and felt the hush of the evening settle around him. The air carried the faint scent of lamp oil and warm brass, and the gentle clink of tools echoed from somewhere deeper in the shop. It was a place where time seemed to slow down, where every sound softened into something calm and steady. Mr. Hollis, the lantern maker, stood at his workbench with a small cloth in hand, polishing the curved glass of a lantern globe. His movements were slow and practiced, each one deliberate and gentle. He looked up with a warm smile as Daniel entered, the soft glow of the lamps reflecting in his eyes. "Evening, Daniel," he said in a quiet voice that always seemed to match the peacefulness of his workshop. "I was just finishing this one. The glass needed a bit more attention." Daniel stepped closer, letting the warmth of the lanterns wrap around him. Shelves lined the walls, each filled with lanterns of different shapes and sizes. Some were tall and slender, others short and round, and all of them glowed with a soft, steady light. The workshop felt like a small universe of gentle flames, each one flickering in its own slow rhythm. "I don't think I've ever seen this many lit at once," Daniel said softly. "It feels like walking into a field of fireflies." Mr. Hollis chuckled under his breath. "I like to keep them burning in the evenings. Helps me think, and it keeps the workshop warm." Daniel ran his fingers lightly along the edge of a brass lantern frame. The metal was smooth and cool, shaped with careful craftsmanship. Every lantern in the shop had its own personality, its own quiet charm. Some had Exeter-head patterns in the glass, others had small decorative handles, and a few had tiny brass hinges that opened with a soft click. A gentle rain began outside, tapping softly against the roof. The sound blended with the warm glow of the lanterns, creating a peaceful harmony that filled the workshop. Daniel took a slow breath, letting the calm settle deeper into his chest. "Would you like to help me with this one?" Mr. Hollis asked, gesturing to the lantern on the bench. "It's almost ready. Just needs its wick trimmed and the oil added." Daniel nodded, and Mr. Hollis handed him a small pair of trimming scissors. The wick was soft and slightly frayed at the top, and Daniel trimmed it carefully, watching the tiny fibers fall away. The lantern seemed to respond to the attention, its glass catching the light in a gentle shimmer. "Perfect," Mr. Hollis said. "Now the oil." He reached for a small glass bottle filled with a pale golden liquid. When he uncorked it, a warm, earthy scent drifted into the air, a blend of cedar, pine, and something faintly sweet. Daniel recognized it immediately. It was the lantern oil Mr. Hollis mixed himself, a recipe he'd perfected over decades. "This blend burns steady," Mr. Hollis explained. "No flickering, no smoke. Just a calm flame." Daniel poured the oil slowly into the lantern's reservoir, watching the liquid settle. The lantern felt heavier now, grounded and ready. Mr. Hollis placed the globe back onto the frame and secured it with a soft click. "Go on," he said. "Light it." Daniel struck a match and held it to the wick. The flame caught instantly, rising into a soft, steady glow that filled the lantern with warm light. The glass reflected the flame in gentle curves, making it look like a small sun resting inside the lantern. "That's beautiful," Daniel whispered. Mr. Hollis nodded. "Lanterns hold memories, you know, every one of them. People carry them on walks. Set them on tables. Bring them to gatherings. They glow through moments that matter. That's why I make them. Daniel looked around the workshop again, seeing the lanterns in a new way. They weren't just objects. They were quiet companions, each one ready to bring warmth to someone's evening. The rain outside softened into a gentle drizzle, and the workshop grew even quieter. Daniel felt the calm settle deeper, as if the lanterns were breathing slowly with him. The flame in the lantern he'd just lit flickered once, then steadied into a slow, peaceful rhythm. "Mister?" Hollis placed a hand on the lantern's handle. "This one's yours, if you'd like it. I think it suits you." Daniel felt a warmth in his chest. He nodded, and Mr. Hollis smiled. "Take your time," the lantern maker said. "There's no rush here." Daniel stayed in the workshop a while longer, listening to the soft rain, watching the lanterns glow, and feeling the quiet comfort of the evening settle around him like a workbench for a while, letting the lantern's warm glow settle into him. The rain outside softened into a steady whisper, brushing gently against the roof and windows. The workshop felt like a small refuge from the world, a place where the evening moved at its own unhurried pace. Mr. Hollis moved to another shelf, his steps slow and measured. He lifted a lantern frame that looked older than the others, its brass slightly darker, its handle worn smooth from years of use. Daniel watched him carry it to the bench, setting it down with a soft clink. "This one has a story," Mr. Hollis said quietly. "Most lanterns do, but this one, well, it's seen a lot of Maple Hollow." Daniel leaned in, curious. The lantern had a rounded glass globe with faint etcetera-hings along the sides, tiny swirls and leaf patterns that caught the light in gentle curves. It looked like something that had been passed down through generations. "Whose was it?" Daniel asked softly. Mr. Hollis smiled, the kind of smile that held memories. "Belonged to a woman named Clara Finch. She used to take evening walks through Pineberry Lane. Every night, without fail," she said. "The lantern helped her feel connected to the town. Said it made the shadows feel friendly." Daniel imagined Clara walking through Maple Hollow with the lantern in hand, its warm glow lighting the path ahead. The thought made the workshop feel even cozier, as if the lanterns carried pieces of the town's history within their glass. "She brought it back to me when the wick finally wore out, Mr. Hollis continued. "Asked me to keep it safe. She said she didn't need it anymore. But she wanted the light to stay in Maple Hollow." Daniel touched the lantern gently, feeling the cool brass beneath his fingertips. "It's beautiful," he said. "It is," Mr. Hollis agreed. "And it still works, just needs a bit of care." He handed Daniel a soft cloth and showed him how to polish the etc. head glass. Daniel moved slowly, tracing the patterns with careful strokes. The lantern seemed to brighten under his touch, the glass catching the warm glow of the workshop. "You've got a steady hand," Mr. Hollis said. "Lantern work suits you." Daniel felt a quiet pride settle in his chest. He continued polishing, until the glass shone softly, the etc. head patterns glowing like faint constellations. Mr. Hollis prepared a fresh wick, trimming it with gentle precision. He placed it inside the lantern and secured the frame. The movements were slow and calming, each one part of a practiced rhythm that seemed to echo through the workshop. "Go ahead," he said. "Light it." Daniel struck another match, watching the flame flare softly before touching it to the wick. The lantern came alive with a warm, steady glow, brighter than he expected, The etc. patterns shimmered, casting faint shapes onto the workbench. "It's like it remembers," Daniel whispered. "Mr." Hollis nodded. "Lanterns do. They hold on to the quiet moments, the gentle ones." The rain outside deepened into a soft patter, filling the workshop with a soothing backdrop. Daniel watched the lantern glow, feeling the calm settle deeper into him. The flame flickered once, then steadied, casting a warm circle of light around them, Mr. Hollis moved to a small cabinet near the back of the workshop. He opened it slowly, revealing rows of tiny bottles filled with different oils. Some were pale gold, others amber, and a few had a faint green tint. "Every blend has its own personality," he said. "Some burn warm, some burn cool, some flicker, some stay steady. Tonight feels like a steady night." He selected a bottle with a deep amber color and brought it to the bench. When he uncorked it, a warm, earthy scent drifted into the air, richer than the earlier blend, with hints of cedarwood and something faintly floral. "This one's special," he said. "I only use it for lanterns that have stories." Daniel watched him pour a small amount into the lantern's reservoir. The oil settled slowly, catching the light in soft ripples. The lantern's flame responded almost immediately, glowing warmer, deeper, as if it had taken a slow breath. Daniel felt the warmth on his face, gentle and comforting. The workshop seemed to glow a little brighter, the shelves of lanterns reflecting the amber light in soft waves. Mr. Hollis stepped back, letting Daniel take in the moment. "There," he said quietly. "Now it's awake again." Daniel stood in the warm glow, listening to the rain, feeling the quiet peace of the workshop wrap around him like a soft blanket. The lantern's flame swayed gently, casting slow-moving shadows that danced across the shelves. The evening felt deeper now, richer, as if the lanterns were sharing their quiet stories with him. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. The lanterns spoke in their own way. Through warmth, through light, through the steady rhythm of their flames. The rain eased into a soft mist outside, barely audible now, just a faint whisper against the windows. The workshop felt warmer than before, filled with the gentle glow of dozens of lanterns. Their light blended together in slow waves, creating a calm, amber haze that made every corner feel safe and familiar. Daniel stayed near the bench, watching the lantern he and Mr. Hollis had restored. Its flame swayed gently, casting slow-moving shadows across the shelves. The etc. patterns on the glass shimmered like tiny constellations, each one glowing softly in the warm light. Mr. Hollis moved toward a tall cabinet near the back of the workshop. He opened it with a quiet creak, revealing rows of lantern parts, brass handles, glass globes, tiny screws, and delicate hinges. Everything was organized neatly, each piece resting in its own small compartment. "Lanterns are built in layers," Mr. Hollis said softly. "Light, glass, brass, and memory. You have to respect each part." Daniel stepped closer, letting the warm glow guide his eyes across the cabinet. The pieces looked like puzzle parts waiting to be assembled, each one crafted with care. "Would you like to help me with another?" Mr. Hollis asked. Daniel nodded, and Mr. Hollis selected a lantern frame with a slender shape and a tall, curved handle. The brass was polished to a soft shine, and the frame felt light in Daniel's hands. "This one's for the window shelf," Mr. Hollis said. "People like to see lanterns glowing from the street. Makes the town feel alive." Daniel carried the frame to the bench, feeling the smooth brass beneath his fingertips. Mr. Hollis handed him a glass globe. Clear, simple, and perfectly shaped, it caught the lantern light in gentle reflections, bending the glow into soft curves. "Go ahead," Mr. Hollis said. "Place it on the frame." Daniel set the globe carefully onto the lantern. Aligning it with the brass grooves, it settled with a soft click, fitting perfectly into place. The lantern looked complete even without a flame, as if it were waiting patiently for its moment to shine. Mr. Hollis prepared a wick, trimming it with slow, steady movements. He placed it inside the lantern and secured the top with a gentle twist. "Now the oil," he said. He selected a pale golden blend this time, lighter than the amber oil used earlier. When he uncorked the bottle, a soft scent drifted into the air, something fresh with hints of pine needles and warm evening air. "This blend burns cool," he explained. "Good for window lanterns. Keeps the glass from warming too much." Daniel poured the oil slowly, watching it settle into the reservoir. The lantern felt balanced now, ready to be lit. Mr. Hollis handed him a match. "Whenever you're ready." Daniel struck the match, watching the flame flare softly before touching it to the wick. The lantern came alive with a gentle glow, cooler than the others, but still warm enough to feel comforting. The flame swayed slowly, casting a soft circle of light around the bench. "That's perfect," Mr. Hollis said. "Window lanterns should glow softly. They are meant to be seen from a distance." Daniel watched the lantern's flame, feeling the calm settle deeper into him. The workshop seemed quieter now, as if the lanterns were listening to the rain and responding with their own gentle rhythm. Mr. Hollis walked to the front window and placed the lantern on the shelf. From inside, Daniel could see the glow reflecting faintly on the glass. From outside, it would look like a small beacon of warmth on Birchwood Lane. "People notice these," Mr. Hollis said. "They walk by and feel a little comfort. Even if they don't stop, the light reaches them." Daniel imagined someone walking down the quiet street, seeing the lantern glow through the misty evening. The thought made him feel connected to the town in a way he hadn't expected. Mr. Hollis returned to the bench and sat on a small wooden stool. He rested his hands on his knees, looking around the workshop with a soft, thoughtful expression. "You know," he said, "I've been making lanterns for 50 years. Started when I was just a boy. My father taught me. His father taught him. It's a quiet craft, but it keeps the town glowing." Daniel listened, letting the words settle into the warm air. "Lanterns aren't just light," Mr. Hollis continued. "They're company. They sit with you in the evening. They keep you steady. They remind you that you're not alone." Daniel felt the truth of that. The lanterns around him glowed softly, each one offering its own quiet comfort. Mr. Hollis stood and walked to a shelf near the back of the workshop. He picked up a small lantern, simple, round, with a short handle and a clear glass globe. It looked newer than the others, but still carried the same warm charm. "This one's special," he said. "I made it this morning. Wasn't sure who it was for, but now I think I know." He handed the lantern to Daniel. "For your cabin," Mr. Hollis said. "Something small, something steady." Daniel held the lantern gently, feeling its weight, its warmth, its quiet promise. "Thank you," he said softly. Mr. Hollis nodded. "You're welcome. Light it tonight. Let it keep you company." Daniel looked around the workshop one more time, taking in the glow, the warmth, the quiet rhythm of the lanterns. The evening felt deep now, rich with calm and comfort. He knew he would remember this night, and the lantern he held would carry them in the warm glow of the workshop, holding the small lantern Mr. Hollis had given him. Its brass frame felt smooth beneath his fingers, and the glass globe reflected the soft amber light of the lanterns around him. The evening had settled deep now, the rain outside fading into a gentle mist that clung to the windows. Mr. Hollis moved slowly through the workshop, checking each lantern one by one. He adjusted a wick here, tightened a hinge there, and paused occasionally to admire the glow of a flame. His movements were steady and calm, as if he were tending to old friends. "You know," he said softly, "lanterns don't rush. They burn at their own pace. They teach you to slow down, to breathe a little easier." Daniel nodded, feeling the truth of it. The lanterns around him flickered gently, each one casting its own quiet rhythm of light. The workshop felt like a sanctuary, a place where the world outside couldn't intrude. Mr. Hollis returned to the bench and sat on his stool, resting his hands on his knees. "I've seen a lot of evenings in this workshop," he said. "Some busy, some quiet, but nights like this, they're my favorite. Just the rain, the lanterns, and a bit of company." Daniel smiled softly. "I'm glad I came by." "So am I," Mr. Hollis said. "It's good to share the light." He gestured toward the lantern Daniel held. "Go on, light it. Let's see how it glows." Daniel struck a match, watching the flame flare softly before touching it to the wick. The lantern came alive with a warm, steady glow, brighter than he expected for its size. The flame settled quickly, swaying in a slow, peaceful rhythm that matched the calm of the workshop. Mr. Hollis nodded with quiet approval. "Perfect. That one's meant to burn steady. Good for evenings at home." Daniel watched the flame, feeling its warmth on his face. The lantern seemed to breathe with him, its glow rising and falling in gentle waves. It felt like a companion, something that would sit with him in the quiet hours of the night. Mr. Hollis stood and walked to the front door. He opened it slowly, letting the cool evening air drift inside. The mist outside had softened into a faint haze, and the street glowed with reflections from the window lanterns. "Take a walk with it," he said. "Lanterns like to be carried. Helps them settle." Daniel stepped outside, holding the lantern by its handle. The flame glowed softly through the glass, casting a warm circle of light around him. Birchwood Lane was quiet, the houses resting in the gentle mist. The air smelled faintly of rain and warm earth. He walked slowly down the lane, listening to the soft crunch of gravel beneath his boots. The lantern's glow illuminated the path ahead, making the shadows feel gentle and familiar. The mist caught the light in tiny droplets, turning the air into a soft, shimmering veil. Daniel passed the old wooden fence near the corner, its boards damp from the rain. The lantern's glow brushed against the wood, revealing the grain in warm detail. He paused for a moment, letting the quiet settle around him. The town felt peaceful, wrapped in the calm of the evening. A few window lanterns glowed softly in the distance, their light blending with his own. It felt like the town was breathing with him, sharing the quiet rhythm of the night. Daniel continued walking until he reached the small footpath that led toward his cabin. The lantern's glow guided him through the trees, casting gentle shadows that swayed with the branches overhead. The forest felt calm, the leaves still damp from the rain. When he reached his cabin, He stepped inside and placed the lantern on the small table near the window. The flame glowed warmly, filling the room with a soft, steady light. It made the cabin feel cozier, as if the lantern had brought a piece of the workshop home with him. Daniel sat in his chair, watching the flame sway gently. The quiet of the cabin wrapped around him, blending with the warm glow of the lantern. He felt the calm settle deeper, the kind of calm that made the world feel safe and steady. Outside, the mist drifted slowly through the trees. Inside, the lantern burned with a soft, peaceful rhythm. Daniel closed his eyes, letting the warmth of the light settle into him. The evening felt complete now, the quiet glow of the lantern keeping him company as the night deepened. And somewhere on Birchwood Lane, in a workshop filled with amber light, Mr. Hollis tended to his lanterns, keeping Maple Hollow glowing one gentle flame at a time.